Hey guys, so for this one we're just going to kind of run through some basic loops, loop concepts. So loops are basically they're essentially do this action until I tell you to stop or until something evaluates to false. Um, that allows you to do repetitive things pretty easily. So let's just go ahead and dive in. Um, so there are different kinds of loops. The first one and easiest one to understand is probably the for loop. So you say a for loop is basically you say for this variable and then you give a range, do this thing, and it'll do this thing that many times. So let's just go ahead and start. So the syntax is for, and then whatever you want the variable to be, it doesn't matter what it is. For our sakes, we'll just do I, and then the syntax is in, and then you want to give the range. So range is like 1 to 10, and the way you do that is 1 dot dot 10. Oh, 10. So yeah, so you do that. So that's the beginning part, and then you hit enter. So now you're in the loop. So this is where you tell it, hey, this is what I want you to do. So we'll go ahead and say we just want to output what I is. So for this output I, we'll hit enter. And then if we hit end here, it's going to go ahead and run. But I don't want to do that yet because I want to explain it. So essentially we have I, which right now is nothing. The first time it comes through, I is going to be 1. And so it's going to output 1. And then it's going to increase by 1. So the next time it comes through, it's going to be 2. It's going to output 2. And then it's going to come back through. It's going to output 3. And it's going to do that all the way up until it gets through 10. So um, let's go ahead and end. You'll see it'll output 1 through 10. And that's exactly what it did. And you saw how fast it happened. That's why loops are great. They execute really fast, and you don't have to tell it to do it every step. So that's a for loop. That's all there is to it. Obviously, you do more useful stuff than that, but for right now, that's kind of just understand and know that exists. You'll probably, I'm sure, in my future tutorials, we'll be using them here and there because they're pretty handy. So the next one is a while loop, and I kind of want to explain something real quick. So if you do, so while loops basically you say while this is true, do this thing, and a lot of times when you do a while loop, you want to like you're incrementing something and you're saying like when this value is true, break the loop. One way you can do it, which is not the best way to do it, but you can say once you've looped so many times, quit doing this thing, which in most cases you would use a for loop for this, but just so you guys know this exists, you can do this. So you say x equals 1. So if I want to increment x, I could say x equals x plus 1. And that's going to make x2 now. And then, but there's a shorthand for this, so you could say x is equal plus 1. Actually, I did that backwards. X is plus equal 1. So let's redo that. X is 1 again because I just set it back. Plus equal 1. Now it's 2. Now it's 3. Now it's 4. So that's that. And the reason I just told you all that is because I'm going to use that for our while loop here. So while loops, the syntax is just while, and then you give it a condition. So while x, it's currently 4. While x is less than, we'll say 25. And then we hit enter. So now we're in the loop. What do we want it to do? We want it to output x. Now we're going to hit enter. What's x? And then, so if I end it right here, you'll see it's just going to run forever. Because x is always going to be 4. I'm not doing anything with it. Actually, I'll just show you. So I'm going to end here. And you'll just see it's going to output 4 a ridiculous amount of times and either crash my computer. I'm going to stop it, but it'll crash my computer if I let go. And this is what we call an infinite loop. So we give it condition here that's never going to change. So if x is going to be 4, we're not changing x, so it's just going to say while x is less than 4, or less than, I'm sorry, while x is less than 25, do this. While x is less than 25, do this. It's going to do that over and over and over. So I'll go ahead and enter. You can see it. It's just going crap. It's this infinite loop. We're stuck here forever. So I'm going to break out of this with Control C, which is basically stop command. and we're going to redo this the right way. So x is still 4. We still want to do x, but here we want to change x so it's increasing by 1 every time, so we don't get stuck in that infinite loop. So it's going to come through. X is going to be equal to 4 here, it's going to output 4, and then we're going to increase it by 1. So x is now 5, it's still less than 25, it's going to put 5. And then x is equal to 6, it's less than 25, it's going to output it, it's going to increase by 1. It's going to do that all the way up until 25 and stop. So this will output 4 through 24, because once it gets to 25, it's going to say, hey, 25 is not less than 25, so it's not going to run this code. We'll go ahead and do that. So there's that. That's your while loop. I think the last thing I want to cover real quick loop-wise is a dot each loop. So let's just create an array real quick, which we covered in a previous syntax. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's that. And I'm going to set it equal to A for array, because I'm not very creative. So there's that. So we have an array, or anything. It doesn't have to be an array. It could be a hash, it could be a string, you could, whatever you want to do. But for this, we're using array. So we can say A, and then the syntax for each method is, you guessed it, each. And then we're going to want to do, and then you give it a parameter. So this parameter is going to be the item that you're currently indexing over. So first time through it'll be this first value, second time through this value. So we're just going to say number, because that's what's in our array, doesn't really matter. So a.each do number, and now we're in the loop. So now we're going to say what we want to do. So we just want to output this number, because that's what I've been doing this whole video. So we'll say puts number, and then we can do end. So it's going to say for each item in A, loop through, and set the value equal to number, and then output that number, and it's going to come through. Alright, now go to the next one until you're all the way through this array. So this will output 1 through 9. So I get an enter here. You'll see, boom, 1 through 9. So that's that. You can also do like another quick thing before I end this video. You can do inline loops. So you can say, instead of doing like multiple lines like we've been doing for pretty much everything, you can put this in a thing called curly braces. So do ends can basically be replaced with curly braces. So instead of do and then end, you can do like open, close curly braces. So then the syntax is the same. We're giving it a parameter for each value, so still number, and we're saying puts number. So this is the same. This right here is the same thing as this right here. I'll show you. So hit enter, and boom, it did the same thing. So yeah, we covered for loops, while loops, and each loops. So I think that's, yeah. Those are each, I will say I probably use those the most out of anything, and probably for after that. And while usually if you're using a while loop, you can do it with a for loop or an each loop. So that's my take on that. But anyway, this is a good place to end. Please like and subscribe if you found it helpful. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one.